Hey everyone, yes, good morning. So, welcome to our another day, another stronger day, and another day of reminding ourselves not of the challenges of our season, but another day of allowing ourselves our time during the season. And today, I really want to focus once again on the issue that currently has been an issue for a generation that has yet had to get to know themselves. And while they were in the process of getting to know themselves, a generation of women that has had the opportunity to get to know themselves and to get to be introduced to those stronger factors that they are. And I believe that while we were in a process of getting to know ourselves, of getting to be introduced with one another, that we were challenged during the process. And I believe that with the challenge that comes along, I always say the quality of it is that we allow ourselves the opportunity to remain, and not only to remain, but to allow ourselves that time to remain stronger. And that is us this season. Yes, we have been challenged with a lot. Yes, there's a lot of word going on concerning women. Yes, there's a lot of disappointment concerning the things that we have been guilty of being women. But we have also had the opportunity to really allow ourselves to remain. Because once you recognize that there's a sound in the atmosphere, and the sound echoes concerning you, then you have the opportunity to relate with the sound and to find out where are you guilty at in season and where you should better at in season. So we had the opportunity to learn that there was a sound concerning women. There was anger that was stirred, and the anger was stirred totally concerning women in general. But with the anger that was stirred, we as a generation of women today, as a generation of women in the 21st century, we have the opportunity to allow ourselves to remain. I have spoken earlier on our people of color. I have mentioned women during that time that we should allow ourselves the opportunity to keep our seats. And I want to emphasize, and when I speak of remaining in your season, I want to totally speak of allowing yourself the opportunity to keep your seat. And that is where we are at today with Evoke, with our Free Her initiative. Our Free Her initiative totally focuses on our women. I believe that last year we gave our complete year to women with our purpose room, with our discussions on a Friday concerning our purpose room, and with our education and where we are at with the challenges that we had. But this year we really shifted to our Free Her initiative, and our Free Her initiative totally allows us that opportunity to remain and to remain freely, right? Because when you remain, you allow yourself that freedom of being. Because sometimes you try to educate yourself too much, sometimes you try to be so much involved with a lot that is happening around you, sometimes you try to speak up concerning things that sometimes is not your story, right? And sometimes it is not your case. But the only time that you allow yourself that time to remain freely is that opportunity that the everyday woman can give themselves during this time to say that, you know what, our approach as women has always been to take hands with where we are at, has always been to stand with one another in what we are doing, because we exist from one strength, right? And we continue to do that. We continue to allow ourselves our opportunity to remain freely. Remaining freely means you allow yourselves that time. You know when to be part of something and when to be not part of something. You know when to speak and when not to speak. You know when to allow things on you and when to say that, you know what, this is not for me. You know where you are at in season, and you make sure that you continue stronger in every season. And that is our Free Her initiative. It is to allow her that time that is hers. It is to allow her that time that belongs only to her. It is not in someone else's power. It is not in someone else's hands. It is not in someone else's control. It is our opportunity that we owe ourselves. And it is our opportunity that we stand strong with and say that, you know what, there's a lot that has been going on concerning us. There's a lot of challenges that we are currently dealing with. And while we are currently dealing with those challenges, we allow ourselves the time to remain. We speak with everything that we can, with our attitudes, with what we dress, what is going on around us. But it's time that people sometimes have to listen to what it is that we've got to say, right? But we also learn to educate ourselves how to speak with all respect, so that we don't go out disregarding someone else, so that we don't go out disrespecting someone else, so that we don't go out overpowering, when we have to make sure that we only allow ourselves to control ourselves and to remain with where we are at in season. And that is where our emphasis with Free Her is that her freeness is not in anyone else's control. Her freeness is not in anyone else's hands. Her power of remaining where she is at in a season is not in someone else's hands. No one can hinder that factor for her. No matter what it is that they flaunt upon her. No matter what it is, if it's a history, if it's stuff that she has gone through while she was young, if it's stuff that is things that she was challenged with in her life journey, her season is to get to know her with a challenge that remains in her life, right? So the challenge is there, but the opportunity to remain stronger and to allow yourself your freedom is not on those mistakes that you have made, but it is on you saying that, you know what, this is me, and I have gotten to know who I am, and I allow myself that freedom with every opportunity that I have. It is your voice in season that you say that, you know what, there's a lot said concerning us. There's a lot going out around us. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of stereotyping. There's a lot of abuse. But what we can do is we can be true to who we are. We can be loyal with protecting ourselves, with freeing ourselves every time. Because if what people says concerning you is going to have an effect on you, then it is you not protecting you, right? And the Vogue always educates on that protection. We always speak of you protecting you is utmost important. What is you protecting you? It is you knowing that, you know what, I have a story. You know what, but I have a story to go to, right? I have somewhere to be in life. And that is you walking that journey of life saying, yes, you know what, we make it the best that we can. We allow ourselves our best seeds that we can, because it is not my seed, it's not in someone else's hands. My control is in my own hands. Where I find myself at moving forward in this generation, in this season, is not someone else that is going to come and abuse me, that is going to limit me from where I'm at in life. It is myself saying that, you know what, with every challenge that I have, I allow myself my opportunity to remain and to remain freely. That is a vote for today. That is where we are at with remaining. That is where we are at with making sure that even if the odds are against you, you get to know the true you. You protect her with everything that you can, and you remain stronger. That even if the stories are going around concerning you, you allow yourself your freedom from that story. You don't hold on to it. You don't go and sit in a corner because of it. You don't go and feel humiliated and abused because of it, but you learn to know the strength concerning your story, because every story has got the introduction of a stronger you. Every story has allowed her the opportunity to walk stronger, to walk fiercer, to walk better, and to be fine with where she's at. So even if the stories are much, we have learned that yes, our stories are disgusting, yes, our stories are abusive, yes, our stories are manipulative, yes, our stories are painful, but what is stronger, the power that keeps us into existence, or the power that tells the story concerning us, right? So we need to know where we're at in season. We need to know where our strength is at in season, and we remain with that. We remain with staying true to ourselves, because you know what, there's a lot saying concerning our generations of people. There's a lot saying concerning where humanity came from. With all that has been said, creations and the beauty of existence has been continuing to help us and to keep us standing every generation and every season. And that is why it is not for our generation to go sit in abuses and to go sit in manipulations and to go sit in humiliations, but it is for our generations to get to know who we are at in this season and to walk with that fiercely. And that is where Evoke is at today. And that is where our season, with allowing ourselves the completeness of it, is to know that yes, my season is painful. Yes, my season is stereotyping. Yes, my season is abusive. Yes, my generations came through it, but I have the opportunity to get to know her. I have the opportunity to get to know who she is. I have the opportunity to walk in her skin. I have the opportunity to walk fiercely on the soils of this earth. And am I gonna grant myself those opportunity, or am I going to prevent it? And that's why she needs to get to know where she walks from. She needs to get to know where she stands at in season, and she needs to get to know where she's headed in every season. And this is the introduction of the Free Her initiative, continuing with the strength of women in every generation. And this year, we as women have the opportunity to be introduced to the Free Her initiative, to allow her season, to allow her to remain, and to allow her to fiercely appear with everything concerning her, because no one can prevent you from it. No story that they tell concerning you can hinder the factor of who you are. No story that they tell concerning you, nothing that you do in life can hinder your opportunity to appear every day. No matter how disgusting your history has been, no matter how abusive your story has been, but this Rabia has got something to say today, because you know what? My story was disgusting. My story was abusive, but I had the opportunity to get to know the me within that story, to get to know the reason for my story, to understand my appearance in season, and to allow myself to appear freely in every season. That is where we are at with the vote today. And that is where we are at with allowing ourselves our seasons with our Free Her initiative. She needs to know that her strength is not in the challenge that she has, but the quality of her moving forward, the quality of her appearing, the quality of her allowing herself to remain. Anything can hinder you, but nothing can prevent you from the opportunity that you can give yourself to remain. Nothing else that you have done in your life, my sister, no sin that you have committed can prevent you from the opportunity that you can give yourself to remain. No one else can give you that opportunity. We sometimes find ourselves as women in abuse, in marriage abuse, in all of these things. But once we find ourselves in those things, we sometimes get so weak because of how other people would perceive, how they would receive, how they would see us. But we in a season where you have to know that only you can give yourself the opportunity to remain. Only you can decide how far that relationship challenge can challenge you. Only you can decide whether that's gonna allow you to be a stronger you, or whether you're gonna be the weaker you in that challenge. That is the Free Her initiative. It is you remaining freely. It is you allowing yourself to get to know your freedom. And in saying that, I want to start today with the education factor. I want to start today with once a baby are being born, there's the parental education and there's the free approach. And that is where we're at in the season. And we don't want anyone to prevent us from getting to know the free us in our seasons. So let us allow ourselves our times. And let us understand the parenting factor, the mother factor, the giving birth factor starts with you woman. It starts with our everyday woman. And the everyday woman that has given birth have had the opportunity to now educate, to now get to know that this child in season that they have given birth to. And the same way that the everyday woman gets to know their child, the same way they are introduced to the parenting factor concerning them. The same way they get to know the mother factor that has given birth to the baby, because while they learn to educate the baby, they have the opportunity to get to know their strength of being a parent. They get to know the opportunity of nurturing your child. They get to know the opportunity of caring for your child. They get to know the opportunity of being there for your child. They get to know the opportunity of getting familiar when your child is in pain, being familiar when your child requires something, being familiar when your child requires you to be there. They get to know the strength, the inner strength within themselves, the inner strength that has been invested within them. The moment that they give birth and they have the baby in their hands, they have the opportunity to once again be introduced to the mother factor of who they are, the everyday woman. That is why nothing can hinder her freedom, because the strength that she has given birth with is the strength that sometimes sustains, the strength that educates, the strength that helps standing, the strength that helps us keep standing in our seasons. And that is the strength that our everyday woman has got to allow ourselves to get to know within ourselves. That is the true you, my sister. That is the true you that you don't negotiate with anyone. You don't allow yourself to be abused. You don't allow yourself to be hated on. You don't allow yourself to be oppressed, but you be free every time. Whenever you are reminded of an abusive way, whenever you are reminded of a pain that is hindering you to move forward, then you step out of it, you step away from it, and you allow yourself your freedom every season. You allow yourself to remain every season. The moment you are reminded on television what people are going through with women abuse, whenever you are reminded of how another woman in your community are being challenged, you step out of it and you allow yourself that freedom. And once you allow yourself your freedom, someone else gets to know their freedom, another woman gets to know their freedom, and another woman gets to know their freedom. It is an education process. It is an everyday reaction. It is a free walking process. It is a process that wraps up to the next person. It is a way of life. It is a give on process, and we don't allow ourselves to go and sit down and allow people to want to keep us in a corner, but we allow ourselves that freedom every time. We remain freely. Whether Mexico is going through a challenge today, the only thing that I can educate today is that the Mexican women step out of that challenge and they allow themselves that freedom. They allow themselves that respect. They allow themselves that protection, because you owe it to yourself. It is in no one else's power. Even the government leader exists from existence. It is you who allows it to yourself, and the government leader will react in accordance to how you react. It is our reaction today that has us today either freely or either being locked down somewhere. It is our reactions today that requires us to, every time when someone sits you in a corner, you get up and you continue walking. That every time when someone tells you that you cannot do that, you get up and you continue to appear. That every time that someone abuses you and humiliates you with your history, you get up and you continue to be stronger. You get up and you continue to appear. That every time someone tries to remind you of your weakness, you get up with the stronger reaction. That is the reaction that requires you to get up and you continue to remain stronger. That is our education factor. That is our free approach. That is the strength of a parent today, the strength of a mother, the strength of the woman that has been given the opportunity to give birth here unto earth, to bring generations of people into existence. The strength of her that is allowed her in every season, in every generation. No matter her mistakes, no one can hold it against her, but she needs to know her freedom is in her own control. It is in her own power. It is not in someone else's hands, not in someone else's control. No one can prevent you from being who you were meant to be. Allow yourself your season, allow yourself your time, and be free every season. And therefore, when it comes to our freeness in our generation, we say that we know that our generations have been challenged. We know that our generations has gone through stories. We know that our generations has come through pains and pains of generations. But the giving birth factor of every generation is the freedom of having to prosper and having to continue, is the freedom of remaining. We know that yes, our generations has stories that we hold on to, stories that were humiliating, stories that were painful, stories that were abusive, but the freedom is that they have given birth to our generation, and only our generation can allow ourselves the opportunities to remain and to continue freely. It is you allowing yourselves to say that, you know what, this is our story. We know what, we grasp the story and we take hand of it and we walk this road with giving birth to more stronger generations. Because if it had not been for the pain in those generations, where would our generations have found themselves at with the challenges that we are facing today, with the challenges of women abuse, with the challenges of marriage abuse, with the challenges of wars, with the challenges that goes along with nationalities, with religious challenges? Where is it that we would have gotten to know the stronger us if it had not been for the story of our people, if it had not been for the story of our ancestors, if they had not had to go through it in order to tell us where we need to be at in season? They require us to be in the stronger us in season. They require us to remain with the humiliation, to remain sometimes with oppression, but to know that the more you remain, the more freer you are as a generation of people. And that is why you don't go and sit in a corner. You don't go and drink medication because you are abused. You don't go and sit in a corner and go and drink lots of alcohol because you feel oppressed. But you remain freely with the strength of you walking and continuing to appear in every season. Continue to appear in our communities. Continue to appear with educating our children right from wrong. Continue to appear with being parents in our households. Continue to appear no matter if the odds are against you, no matter if there's a challenge in your house, you continue to be the free, the stronger you, preparing for stronger generations. Because if it had not been for your story and for their story, where would the next generation find themselves at? The stronger them, the giving birth of a story, that when the child comes out of the womb of the mother does not know what this child is going to bring to the table. The mother does not know how this child is going to be brought up, the reaction of this child. The mother does not know how tomorrow is going to be for this child, but the mother has the opportunity of now to make the best of it. And that is us in this generation. It is our opportunity to allow us the truth factor, the truth factor of existence, the truth factor of remaining to exist, existing to exist throughout your challenge. That is the true us. That is the stronger you, my sister. That is the stronger you preparing for stronger generations of people. Is yes, everyone is tuned in onto your story, but yes, everyone is required to be where they are required to be. And therefore, don't keep your eyes focused on them, busy with your story, but allow you yourself your freedom. Let them be where they want to be in season, but you step free out of it, because no one can keep you back. No cuffs can even keep a prisoner in prison, but we are all here remaining freely, and therefore only you can remain, and only you can allow that to yourself You allow yourself your season. You understand your free birth factor, and you know that order is good, but control is better. It is good to have order in your life, but it is good to have control. The order is what we sometimes are being challenged with, and what you sometimes say that, you know what, in my house I have a set plan, and in my house this and this is my rule. But you know what, to have control is much better, because sometimes we can't keep up with the rules. We can't keep up with all of those things that life requires of us. But if you keep control in your challenge in your house, and if you know that, you know what, my mistake is also fine, then you know you keep in control. But if you want to keep up with the rule that has been set, and you want to tick up the perfect boxes, then you're going to challenge yourself more. Allow yourself your freedom. Yes, we know that a rule is good, that a set plan is good, but we know that control is much better. Control is much better than that set plan, that the day you can't keep up to the plan, then you want to be challenged, you want to sit in a corner, you want to be humiliated. But we need to educate ourselves. It is better to have control than to have a set rule. It is better to be free than to be set in a corner by a set rule, right? And therefore you allow yourself that freedom every time. Because remember, when it comes to us educating our children, the parenting factor is that, yes, the rule is right in my house, but I need to allow my child that freedom, because I need to know that having that freedom is much better than setting with a rule and then trying to allow the child to learn in a certain way, when the child says, but my qualities are different than yours, but my requirement in life is different than yours. You get to know your child. That is how you keep control of your household, and that is how you don't lose sight of where your child is at when they grow up, but you allow your child this season. You allow your household your season. You allow yourself your season by allowing every individual their freeness with walking. We don't make assumptions, but we allow ourselves to get to find out where we are at in season, and you don't allow yourself to be challenged by what people say about you, but you allow yourself to be free and to be fine with where you are at. And that is where we are at, to say that yes, we can sometimes be loud and we can sometimes shout it out, but we have to do that, because our loudness is sometimes our freedom. It is sometimes our way of protecting ourselves, and it is sometimes our way of saying that we continue to remain, and we're not gonna have that be negotiated with anything or anyone. That is us today with our Free Her initiative, and with making sure that when we, yes, are awoke, we are awoke in every season. Awoke does not only stand for the season that she prospers, but awoke stands for the season when she's challenged in order to remain stronger. That is the awoken everyday woman that has gotten the opportunity to remain and to get to know themselves with the prospering opportunity that they get every day. Awoke speaks every season of something new, and that remains new because it is an awokenness that is remained, and like the new day when the sun shines on us, every new day, when the raindrop falls, every new season. That is the awoken her, that the everyday woman has got the opportunity to get to know her and to remain freely. You can't put a barrier on our raindrops that's falling. You can't hinder our sun that's shining. You can't hinder our autumn season that comes through. You can't hinder our spring season. You can't hinder our summer season, because we are woke through every season. We are awoken with everything concerning us, and we remain to be awoken with everything. We don't want people to go and say, yes, but Awoke's rule is perfect. Awoke's rule is not picture perfect. It is allowing everyday woman her freedom. And sometimes her freedom is abusive, and sometimes others don't agree when they don't see her with the perfect weave and the perfect hair and the perfect nails, but she needs to know herself in order to remain. It is not not others' approval on her that is going to set herself free. It is her remaining on her worst day the same that she remains on her best day. That is the stronger you. That yes, marriages are challenging. Yes, relationships are challenging. But yes, we have the opportunity to step away and to say that, you know what, if this relationship is not for me, I'm not going to be in it. What is this person's reason for being in the relationship? And once I find out that it's not for me, you don't stay in a relationship where you don't feel fine with. You don't stay in a marriage where you don't feel fine with. You don't do things because other people want you to do it, but you set yourself free with where you are at in life, with the everyday choice that you make every day concerning yourself. Yes, we are loud about it. Yes, we talk with everything, but that is who we are. We are normal people. We are true concerning ourselves, and we remain truly. We remain who we are, and we are not going to negotiate it. We are not going to have any hindering factors on where we are at in life. And that is our motivation today for our women in Mexico. That is our motivation today for our everyday women. It is to say that our Mexican sisters, we are 100% with you. But our requirement today is to remain stronger, to step out of relationships that are abusive to you, to don't have yourself be abusive. Because remember, when you sense that you are in an abusive relationship, other people are going to sense it, and they are going to start abusing you also. So your men in the community sometimes only does things because they want to educate you that, you know what, you need to stand up for yourself, and you need to stand your ground in season, and you need to stand firm with where you are at in your season. It is that sometimes we need to step out of those abusive relationships. We need to step out of relationships where men are mentally breaking you down, physically breaking you down, emotionally breaking you down. And we have to allow ourselves the time to remain in our seasons, because our men in our communities, they know us. They have grown up with us. They know the women that our parents have given birth to. So the moment that they are being challenged to go and hunt down their woman, then they want to educate their woman, and they need to know that you can stand your test in season. They need to know that you would be able to step away from that oppresses you. They need to know that you would be able to step away from those relationships that are oppressing to you, so that they can step away from you. We're all existing from the same strength of existence that educated us in a certain way. And yes, we need to learn how to react in order to protect ourselves, and in order to prevent ourselves from being targets to other people out there that see that this woman knows themselves, but they don't react better concerning themselves. And that is why my voice today with the Free Her initiative is to react with where you are at in season, is to not be in relationships that you know is not right for you, but stand your ground in season. Stand up for a woman in season, and step away from those oppressions in season. Allow yourself that time to be fine. Allow yourself to be that time to be protective, and allow yourself that time to be respectful. You know, social media has got a lot of hindering factors, has got a lot of jealousy, has got a lot of systems. There's a lot of people working on these pages, and the more that you exploit yourself, the more that you exploit yourself with the photos that you post, the more that you exploit yourself with the things that you do, is the more that you reject yourself, your opportunity to be free. And don't do that to yourself, but allow yourself that freedom of knowing your respect is where you are at in season, saying that there's somewhere in my life that I don't negotiate my respect, and I don't negotiate my protection at. And there's somewhere in my life that I'm going to have to make a stand. I'm going to step away from the things that I so often post on social media, the things that attract men to you, the things that attract people people that now wants to abuse, and systems that now says, I have seen this person on social media, and this is the photo that they posted, and that's why I want you to go and detect that person. And that is what the systems does. They send people out not because of anything, but because of what woman puts out there. And therefore we need to make sure that we respect ourselves to the uttermost, and that we protect ourselves with where we are at, with knowing that we need to be grounded and to be conscious with where we are at, a generation of now. We need to allow ourselves that protection. And yes, sometimes that protection is going to be loud, and it's going to be firm, and it's going to say it the way it is. And I'm that person. I say things the way that it is. I'm not gonna put a bandage around it, but I'm going to say it the way it is. My family knows me that way. Everyone who knows me knows that this Rabia, if she knows that there's a problem, but the problem comes from somewhere, she's going to speak of where the problem comes from in order to make sure that the problem are being handled in a specific way. And that is where we are at in our season, is that we don't set ourselves out there cheap, and we don't sell ourselves out for nothing. We don't post all of these things on Instagram. We don't post all of our information on social pages. We keep protection by making sure that we protect where we are at in our seasons, and then we can't go and blame anyone, because the moment that you blame someone, someone is going to go and see the reason them, and they are gonna want to blame you for. And therefore we allow ourselves that freedom with everything that we do. No, we don't rub a bandage around the wound, but we say it the way it is. You can silence us so many times for speaking up for what is required, but we do that every season. And how you receive it is up to you, but our requirement in this season is to educate our children that yes, there's dangers in social media. Yes, there's dangers in the ways that we educate people to go and post information out there. And yes, there's dangers in the ways that we sometimes want to post things and we want everything to be fine. There's some people in this world that is not going to agree. And therefore, we sometimes have to respect ourselves and have to protect where we are at in every season. That is us for today. That is our free her discussion for today. And next week, Tuesday, we will continue on this discussion with the free her approach and making sure that we allow ourselves our seasons, and we allow ourselves our time to remain and to remain the stronger as every season. Have a stunning, stunning, stronger day.